by Stephen R. Covey. Okay, this book actually starts with paradigm and principles. Now what is paradigm? So author says that something which we perceive as reality is paradigm. Now every one of us, each of one of us have different paradigms. The reason we have different paradigms is because, you know, it is actually dependent upon how we are brought up, what our conditioning is, the environment in which we are brought up, and of course our background. Now, the author also says that, you know, paradigm shift happens. Now, what is this paradigm shift? He explains with an example that there is a train, people are sitting on that train, and there are 3 kids who are, you know, they are quite loud, they are playing, going here and there, and, you know, creating obnoxious sounds, and then they are actually disturbing others. Now, a man who is sitting there in the train and who is watching these 3 kids is thinking in his mind, oh my God, how irresponsible this father is. You know, he's not taking care of his kids, he's not managing them. And then he was sitting quietly, but after 10 minutes, he really got irritated and he just stood up to that father and he said, sir, would you mind looking after your kids? So this man, the father, he just stood up and he said, oh, I'm really sorry, sir. And I was not watching my kids. Actually, I'm coming back from the hospital, and you know, my mother passed away 1 year back. 1 hour back. So this man, he was actually taken aback, and you know, he was thinking that again. He thought back that, you know, 10 minutes back I was thinking that how irresponsible parent this person is, and he's not have any, does not have any social skills. So this is what paradigm shift is. What the author says that if some change, what you perceived as reality actually changes, then that is termed as paradigm shift. Okay. Now the author actually, you know, before writing this book, he researched around 200 years of literature, and he said that, you know, almost 50 years back, the literature which he researched, he said these books actually talked about the personality ethic. That is about your public image. How do you appear, or how your social interaction should be, what your appearance should be, that basically how you should behave in public. But then when he moved towards more 150 years, and he पीछे और 200 साल के books पर वो जो गया, what he found is those books actually talked about integrity, character, courage, modesty. So what he said, character ethic is the foundation of success. So if you really want to be happy, if you really want to endure happiness in your life and, you know, be successful, it is very important that you inbuild this character ethics in your foundation. Okay. Then, you know, the author says, he actually brought up this concept very well. He says, you know, every one of us, whosoever we meet, be it we have a relationship with any person, or, you know, we are meeting any stranger, everyone has their emotional bank account. And, you know, we are having some deposit and some withdrawal from that bank account. So he says, you know, it is very important that you have more and more deposits into other person's emotional bank account. Now how can we do that? So he quoted few examples. He said you can use please, thank you. He said, he actually gave one golden rule. He said, you know, don't do something which you don't want to be done to yourself. के लिए आप सोच रहे हो कि वो चीज़ नहीं होनी चाहिए, and you are doing that to others, that is, you know, somewhere down the line you are withdrawing, you are creating a withdrawal from that emotional person's bank. Then he says, apologize. So even if you think you are not at mistake, you should apologize. Then he also says, you know, you need to clarify expectations. So whatsoever, be it you are at a workplace, or, you know, you are in an emotional or a romantic relationship, you need to clarify your expectation, whatever you have with the other person. Then he also says that, you know, it is very important that you keep your commitments. So in case you are not keeping up your commitments, you are again creating withdrawals from that person's bank. So now let us move to the main part of the book, which is 7 habits. Okay, the first habit says be proactive. Now, in order to explain this, you know, author said there is a circle of concern. like government, weather, economy. You cannot control them. But then, people who are more focused on circle of concern, they are always, complaining. Then he says there is a circle of influence. Now, what is circle of influence? Wherein some things which we can control, like our attitude, our education, our skill set. So he says, you need to be more concentrated towards circle of concern. A reactive person is always focused towards circle of concern, wherein a proactive person will always be focused towards circle of influence. That is something which you can control, right?
Yeah, one thing here. It's like micro environment and macro environment.
Yes. Okay. The next habit says begin with the end in mind. Now, when we say begin with the end in mind, the author says you need to determine what is it that you really want in life. Is it your passion? Is it money? Is it fame? Is it recognition? What is it that you really want in life? And whatever you want in life, first you need to think about the destination which you want to reach. He says you need to dream big. But then while dreaming big, you need to first determine that what should be your end goal. Where is it that you want to reach? And remember, you are the programmer of your life, right? So always begin with the end in mind.
जल्दी किसको है क्या? मैं वो भी जल्दी नहीं है. Rest of the people also not married.
Okay, I will.
This is a very important book, and
yes, sir.
You made it well.
Now the third habit says put first thing first. Now again, as said in the previous habit that you are the programmer of life. In this third habit, the author says you need to program your life. Now here is in this habit you need to write a program for your life, right? He says determine what's the most important thing in your life. Is it family? Is it friends? Is it work? What is it that is important in your life? And then question your habits. अभी रात में जितने लोग बैठ के रील देखते हैं, I'm sure many of us do that, and then they complain अरे सुबह उठा नहीं जाता है. So you need to watch out on your addictions. अभी habits पे, addictions पे आपको ध्यान देने की ज़रूरत है, because you want to reach to your goal. And then he says, he actually gives this grid. He says important and urgent things you need to manage. Definitely you need to manage. But then focus should be on those things which are important but not urgent. Like your family. They are important, but you don't consider them as urgent. So remember, it is this grid that is important and not urgent. These are the people who will help you in reaching your goal. So that's the thing he teaches in the third habit.
Yes. Please go back.
Yes.
See, you've done it very well. Only my request would be when you give this to me.
Yes, sir.
इस तरह से आपने manage it. You should write family. यहाँ पे इस वाले grid में वो लिखो so that it becomes clear for me.
Okay. I do that. Okay. Now, habit 4 is think win-win. Now, before we actually move on to this think win-win, we need to understand different set of people. He says, what I have quoted is, this is actually representing different set of people. Abhi, one set of people is, I want to win. Abhi tum haar rahe ho, so it's okay. I am okay with that. Then there are kind of people who say, अच्छा ठीक है, तू जीत जा, let me lose, I am fine with that. Then there are another set of people who say, neither I will win nor you will win. So let both of us lose. ठीक है, I am okay with that. You losing, I am fine with me losing. And then he says there is another set of people who is like, who are of course they are positive. They say that both of us will try to win, but then if both of them are not winning, so no deal is happening. And then there is the last set of people who are looking for win-win situation, that both the parties need to that situation wherein both the parties are winning. He says try to find a solution wherein both the parties are winning. we only listen just because we are thinking that we want to reply to what he is or she is saying. He says don't do that. To understand someone, you have to listen first. And please remember, again he goes back to the paradigm. He says that, different people are viewing things differently. But the first image, you can see these two women are actually seeing the same thing, but both of them are seeing different things, differently. So remember, different people are viewing things differently. So first you need to listen them, you need to understand them, and then you can think that okay fine, I can be understood. And again I quoted an example with this image, with the second image. So next time if your spouse says, I hate my job, please don't come to that conclusion, okay you change it. No, don't do that. First try to come on his path. First try to understand him. Probably your first reaction should be that you are not enjoying your job, you are feeling upset about it. Try to understand first. And then you can, of course, you can say that you can develop your skill set and whatever solution. First you need to try to be at his or her place. Okay, the fifth habit. Again, the first image. Different set of people, different paradigm, perceiving things differently. But then the second image shows that a set of people who are sitting together. See, the author says that a good CEO is someone who brings all of these different people together and can actually utilize them effectively. So it is very important that you collaborate. It is very important that synergistically you need to work. The author also says that 1 plus 1 can be equal to 3, it can be equal to 10, and it can even be equal to 100. So you need to decide what is it that you want, right? Okay, so we came to the last habit. Now this is very important. It says sharpen your saw. Sharpen the saw, sorry. So you can see this man is cutting the tree. So in order to cut this tree, he needs 5 hours. Why he needs 5 hours? Because his saw is not sharpened. So another man walks up to him and he says, why don't you sharpen your saw? He says, abhi wo karne mein mujhe 1 ghanta aur lagega. So he said, it's okay, sharpen your saw. But then he continues to do so. Actually, what would have happened if he would have sharpened his saw? He would have taken only 1 hour to sharpen his saw and another 3 hours to cut down this tree. And he could have easily saved that 1 hour. So author says you need to sharpen your saw. How you can sharpen your saw? You need to focus on these 4 things. What is that? You need to focus on your health. Then of course you need to focus on the spirituality. And you need to build on your knowledge, your skills. And of course, please remember that your family, your relationships are very important. You need to have social skills. Because at the end, they are the ones who will help you in reaching your goal. So that's all from this book. I have this statement. Please don't put the last one. I have prepared this set of questions, and I want each one of you to just take the appropriate answer which you think is appropriate in your case. And for each of the options, there is a marks associated with it. At the end of the, once you reach to the last question, you need to add those numbers. Once you add to those numbers, we'll come to a conclusion wherein we'll try to find out that do you really have these habits or you don't. It's a simple exercise, and let's see how many of us have these 7 habits or not. So if I can ask Sarika ma'am and Chitra ma'am to help me, please distribute these pens also.